Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily short story. Now, before I start today's story, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this short story and any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers and at your local bookstore and local library if you requested, and you can order paperback copies from Amazon. Now, here's today's short story. I hope you enjoyed just as much as I did writing it.
Be the best. Sebastian Phillips was so honored, excited, and pleased to be invited to the Dragon Sanctuary for a private one-on-one lesson with the great dragon herself. After years of training, studying and honing his dragon-breathing fighting skills, he was finally going to be acknowledged for the first time in his life. He was so excited as he stepped into the massive wooden chamber. The ice-cold wooden flooring made him hiss a little in pain as the coldness shot into his skin, joints, and muscles. He had been in here a few times because dragon-breathing training was normally done outside so they could be closer to the elements. The coldness always surprised him. The massive, thick black beams of African dogwood were a great contrast to the thin paper sheets that formed the walls of the chamber. He had never been too sure why the walls were made from paper instead of plaster or something else, but the great dragon once said it was a reminder. With dragon breathing, everyone had the power to burn the entire world, but they had to be controlled, mindful, and selfless towards others. That all started with not burning the paper sheets in the wooden chamber. The great dragon was the master of all knowledge, so he had no intention of disobeying her. A moment later, Sebastian heard footsteps come up from behind, his stomach filled with butterflies, and he hoped it was the great dragon. He turned, frowned, and his skin crawled at the sight of Charlie Bonds. The short man that was the same age as him came in, with his typical stupid smile on his handsome face that all the young women seemed to love. Charlie was wearing the same brown, traditional robes as him, even though stupid Charlie's robes were too big for him. He didn't have muscle, he didn't have long limbs, and he was a stain on dragon breathing. Charlie was pathetic in every meaning of the word. Why the hell the great dragon would invite him of all people was beyond him. She hates you. Sebastian bit his lower lip. He couldn't have the voice whispering in the back of his mind now. Not when he was so close to greatness, and everything he had ever wanted was within reach. If he was acknowledged, honored, and respected by the great dragon, then maybe he could become the great dragon himself. He deserved it. The great dragon was close to retirement. She wasn't as flexible as she used to be, and she was weak. He had been honing his skills for years, so he was the best. And only the best got to become the great dragon. She hates you. Kill Charlie. Now. Sebastian shook the silly, evil, twisted thoughts away. Killing was wrong, and it wasn't the way of the dragon. Gentlemen, the great dragon said as she came in behind them both. It is a pleasure to see you both. Sebastian bowed, and Charlie fell over like the idiot he was. Sebastian enjoyed the warm feeling of butterflies filling his stomach. His head went light, and he grinned like a little schoolboy. The great dragon was actually talking to him. To him, of all people. Sebastian looked at the great dragon in her long, sweeping golden dress that sparkled in the dim light of the wooden chamber. Charlie went to shake her hand, but the idiot fell over yet again. Charlie didn't deserve to be here. The great dragon flashed her sapphire eyes at him. Sebastian's stomach felt like it was about to explode in butterflies, and he couldn't stop staring at her beauty. The great dragon was so perfect, so angelic looking, and her smile was divine. I will officially announce this tonight at our training session, the great dragon said, her voice like soft caramel. I wanted you two to be the first to know. You are going to be co-great dragons. Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Charlie shouted as he ran over, hugged her, and tripped. Sebastian flat out couldn't believe what was happening. This was outrageous. This was an abomination, and this was wrong in every sense of the word. He just stared at Charlie as he laughed, kept stumbling over his long robes, and Sebastian just couldn't. He could never be co-great dragon with that idiot. He was never going to work with Charlie. Charlie wasn't even that great at dragon breathing. He was so pathetic, so weak, and he could only master the first method of dragon breathing. It was the most basic technique ever. Sure, Sebastian supposed he couldn't say much because he couldn't master that basic technique, but he could do everything else. The great dragon came over to him. Sebastian snarled at her. Her eyes were so ugly, so dim, and so evil. History is repeating itself. I told you. Kill them both. Sebastian didn't even try to suppress the evil voice. The voice was right, because this is what always happened. No one ever wanted to acknowledge his brilliance, his hard work, and how he was God's gift to humanity. I should be great dragon without Charlie, Sebastian said. I am the best student. I am a god, and I could beat your pathetic ass any day. The great dragon laughed. I might be aging, I might not be as fast as I used to be, but I still gave you a great honor. No, Sebastian said, his hands forming fists. You gave me a disrespect. You are a stain on the title Great Dragon. Especially, as you want me to practice with Charlie of all idiots. Charlie tried to rush over, but he tripped over his long robes. The great dragon broke into a defensive stance. She shook her head and she stood up perfectly straight. I will not fight you, Sebastian, the great dragon said. You don't have a choice. You pathetic traitor, he said. First method, dragon breathing. Sebastian sucked in the warm air. The air exploded in his lungs, and he charged with supernatural speed at the great dragon. He was so fast, he was a blur. The great dragon stepped to one side. She didn't even look at him. She didn't even react. Sebastian's hands formed fists. He hated her. He hated that she wouldn't admit he was the best, and that he should be the great dragon alone. Kill her. Dragon breathing, third method. The air exploded in Sebastian's lungs. He zoomed towards her and he blew fire at her direction. Dragon breathing. Second method, the great dragon said. She spun round. She thrusted out her hands. A blue magical shield formed in front of her. His flames disappeared. I'll help, Charlie said. First method. Charlie zoomed towards Sebastian. He stepped out the way and punched Charlie as he zoomed past. Charlie threw through the air, smashed into a paper sheet and tore through it. The great dragon smiled, stood perfectly still, and gestured Sebastian to try again. You need to kill her now. You are the greatest of all. Let me help you. Sebastian bit his lower lip. The dim light of the wooden chamber crackled a little. The great dragon was so blind to the truth, and she was standing there like he was nothing. He wanted to kill her, feast on her flesh, and he wanted her to know without a shadow of a doubt that he was the best student she had ever had. Charlie was nothing, and even the great dragon was nothing compared to him. He was going to kill her. He didn't even care if that was wrong, immoral, or this was some play by Hell's Place. Sure, he had heard the rumors about Hell's Place. The former council estate where people died, disappeared, and other weird and twisted things happened to them every day. He smiled at the idea. The advantage of living in Hell's Place that was, you could either die or become a victim another way. You could grow stronger, tougher, and more demonic. Anything to help him to be the best. First method, Charlie said. Sebastian shook his head. Dragon breathing. 10th method. Harbinger of death. The great dragon zoomed forward. She charged. She leapt into the air. She whipped out two massive fiery swords. The air exploded into Sebastian's lungs. He thrusted out his hands. Immense torrents of fire shot out of them. The flames crackled, screamed, laughed. The torrents of flame were alive, singing and zooming towards Charlie. The flames smashed into him. Charlie screamed in agony. Charlie tried to resist. Sebastian looked at the great dragon. She was coming for him. She swung her swords. A torrent of fire smashed into her. The great dragon flew backwards. Charlie's corpse was completely engulfed. First method, Sebastian said. He zoomed towards the great dragon. He smashed into her. She laughed. Seventh method, she said. Sebastian's eyes widened. He tried to stop. He couldn't. He was going too fast. The great dragon roared like a fantastical dragon. Her fingers became claws. She swung at him. Her claws ripped into his chest. Sebastian screamed in crippling pain. He collapsed to the ground. The ice-cold wooden floor was so cold, so hard, and so awful. Sebastian hissed in pain as the coldness chilled his skin, and pure agony radiated throughout his entire body. The great dragon tapped her long dagger-like claws together as she came over to him. Sebastian coughed at the overwhelming aroma of burnt flesh, charred bone, and burning hair. Charlie was dead. He smiled to himself. He had always been so much better, so much stronger, and so much tougher than Charlie. It was good that he was dead. Let me take control. Let me kill her. You need me. Now. Sebastian ignored the voice in the back of his mind a little longer, as the great dragon pressed her foot against his chest. He hissed in agony as she snapped a rib, and he knew he couldn't beat her. Not without a little help. You have control, Sebastian said, allowing the little voice to take over. He smiled as he felt his muscles get thicker, his teeth become fangs, and his entire body healed itself without any pain. He wasn't even sure if he could feel pain anymore. The 13th method will save you. Sebastian had no idea what the voice was talking about. There were only 12 methods of dragon breathing, and it was impossible to create a new method. The methods had been created thousands of years ago, and there was no 13th method, but if it allowed him to be the best, he wouldn't argue. The great dragon knelt down on his chest. She smiled and pressed her claws against his throat. You were my best student, but you were useless at the first method. If you were only good at that, then I would have made you great dragon. This way you and Charlie, the best of all the methods, could have ruled, trained, and inspired. Why did you throw it all away? Because I'm the best. The great dragon shook her head. If you were the best, then I wouldn't have won. Dragon breathing. 13th method, Sebastian said. Nothing happened. Sebastian sucked in the air, and the great dragon didn't react. She ripped her claws across his throat. They didn't cut him. His skin was as tough as scales, so they ripped her claws out. The great dragon staggered back in agony. She held her bleeding hand, and she stared at him in horror. Sebastian shook up. His entire body felt like it was crackling with such power, such energy, and such dragon strength that he knew exactly what to do. He charged. He leapt into the air, and he transformed into a massive fiery dragon. The great dragon tried a method, but it was useless. Sebastian ripped straight through her, turning her weak, pathetic body to ash. All the paper sheets, the wooden beams and wooden flooring, became engulfed in flames, and Sebastian transformed back into a human. He smiled at the beautiful sight all around him. The bright red, yellow, and orange flames looked so stunning, bright, and beautiful. The flames licked his robes, flesh, and hair, but they didn't burn him because he was the best at dragon breathing. He was one with the flame, and he was the controller of everything. He marched out of the wooden chamber, grinned to himself, and he was so looking forward to tonight's training. If anyone didn't want to submit to him, then he would gladly show them what power looked like. Because he was the best.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/ConnorWhiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help us spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteley Verse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.